Can I do the news thing?
Go on,
man. We're back. We're back with. It's not news, but I'm doing the news shuffle. The news shuffle. So, next talking point, which is sort of political, but maybe not
proper political.
Okay,
for people who
proper.
don't do politics.
Yeah, we're doing more politics. We're doing all the politics. So, here's my question. Here's my talking point. I shall read it verbatim, if that's the way you say it. The UK's scrappage scheme was a great idea, right?
Look at that question.
Bait and switch, that was, wasn't it? Bait and switch. So what I'm saying is, right, if you don't know, I'll give you some stats first. Some vague stats. Okay. Stroke your beard. So the UK's scrappage scheme, almost said the UK's scrappage scheme, which maybe that should have been the title. It was 2009, 2010, any pre-2000, it was a bit weird. So before it was like 99 or previous for the start, and then after a while they said, well, it's 2000, it'll do. You'll be alright. It all got a bit... But so 2000-ish cars, anything pre-2000-ish was eligible. You got £1,000, £2,000 incentive overall, £1,000 from the government, £1,000 from the automakers. And we'll not go into the whole, well, you get your incentive and then they put £2,000 extra on the price of the car. Anyway, so we've mentioned the scrappage scheme in the past, I think, on podcasts, haven't we? And I think in general it's been a positive thing, and I think there are positives about it that we can, sort of relate to. So, I mean, you think of like sort of, let's make some I think we should also say, let's make some generalizations and some maybe stereotypes with this. So you're going to say that if you're in the market for a £2,000 incentive scheme, then your car's probably worth £2,000 or less.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to, maybe round about 2,000. Maybe you're just like, well, it's worth 2.5, but I can't be asked to go through the whole thing of selling it, so I'll just scrap it in. But really, you know what I mean?
You think people are that logical, really?
I don't know.
You don't think people are like, I get $2,000 off?
What? So they're like, this car's worth $7,000, but I get $2,000 off, so I'll just chop it in.
No, I get $2,000 off the next one.
$2,000 off the next one?
When they chop it in. Like, they're getting...
I'm confused now.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I know what you mean. Sorry,
you know what I mean?
Cash for clunkers. I got confused.
Yeah.
I'm not very good with numbers. So if your car's less than 2,000, then it kind of made sense.
Yeah, because if your car's only worth £1,000, you get £2,000 off. So you're like £1,000 up than if you just sold it normally, isn't it? So we'll make the assumption that it's £2,000 or less, and probably like these kind of cars are 80s, 90s cars, maybe a bit rough, kind of not brilliant cars. So I think. Yeah, although we've now sort of sadly lost some of those cool 80s and 90s cars because scrappage scheme.
We lost a lot of Citroen AXs.
We did, yeah.
In that war. They were the first to go.
I think the French and the Italians maybe lost out big time.
Surrendered so many cars. So many.
I like what you did there. See what you did there. So anyway, so I think, you could argue that that's taken a lot of the rougher, older, more polluting cars off the road, which was the point of the scrappage scheme, or that's what we were told was the point of the scrappage scheme. But, so that's a win. We'll do a smiley face, win for that.
Yeah,
one. That's good.
He got rid of like crap cars.
Yeah.
Crap cars that no one was ever going to care about. They're rotting away. We're just going to die.
Part, or barely roadworthy stuff that may be too far gone. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, okay.
We'll go two thumbs. Two thumbs. Yeah, two thumbs wavering.
Yeah.
But then the problem is, you see, I think you could argue that then most of those people, obviously, because of the way the scrappage scheme works, are now in some sort of leased vehicle. Because and again, this is a generalisation, but I would say if you've got a car that's under £2,000, you probably haven't got the money to go in and get £2,000 off a new car and just buy it outright.
Yeah. You'd be, you weren't in the system.
Yeah, so you're not in the system, exactly. Yeah. So I think you're probably right in saying, that you, and maybe because of that, I mean, certainly circumstantial evidence would suggest a lot of people going out and buying budget cars, because it's like, I've got a sub £2,000 car, but now I can get a new one. Well, I can't go out and buy a fully spec S-Class Merc.
No.
And I get most of my, that £2,000 works the most when you're only buying a base spec Kia Picanto, because you get more off that way, even though, like we say, you probably don't get more off at all, but say no more.
Yeah.
So that's okay, but that means that a lot of people are now on PCP deals, which, as we've talked about, and lease deals, and as we talked about, when we've referenced many times, not necessarily a great thing. So I'm kind of going to be like a bit double thumbs down for that.
Absolutely.
And then my other point, which
it's not like they gave you the money, is it? It's not like
no, you didn't have
you cash. You didn't cash in your clunker, as they call it in America.
Yeah,
you didn't. It wasn't like a scrap. It wasn't like you scrapped an old car and they said, "Brill, here's $2,000.
Here's $2,000 in some green, and then go off somewhere else and buy." It was all done in the dealership. Wasn't
it was
which
all,
is all a bit smoke and mirrorsy sort of.
As it always is.
Yeah, it's a bit don't
slimy
like that.
sounds.
Don't like that.
Don't like them.
So the thing is, then, and this is where it maybe gets a bit nebulous now. So, if you're on a PCP deal or a lease of some description, 3 years down the line, you probably again
got a car worth less than £2,000 again.
Yeah, generalisation alert here. But you're probably going to be like, I quite like every one of these newish cars.
Oh, wow.
This is like I can stay on.
Could be the first new car many people would have had.
A lot of people who could only afford a £1,500 car have got a balloon payment of £5,000 coming, and so they're like, well, actually, like we said, not freedom, can't actually buy themselves out and just keep this for the rest. So now they're buying a new car, which means a new car is being produced every 3 years.
Yep.
Now I know there's a lot of recycling goes on, a lot of
90%.
90%. It's very good now, but ultimately, you're still the mechanics of building these cars all the time. And so my question would be, maybe, if you just let the system carry on as it is, given that we've seen recently the efficiency of vehicles kind of like 80s, 90s stuff didn't really, it was just like it would always do 20 something or 30 something, wouldn't it, if it was a petrol and it's kind of whatever. And then all of a sudden through the 2000s, efficiency's just gone kind of through the roof, hasn't it, really, and diesels especially.
Yeah.
Would that kind of, that curve as it went up and efficiency went up, wouldn't that have just naturally trickled down as people's cars died anyway? So, okay, it might have taken a longer time to take effect, but we would have got there where people were now driving around in sub £2,000 bangers that were actually still doing 40 miles to the gallon or 50 miles to the gallon or 60 if they're diesel or whatever. So I'm kind of like, maybe it was necessary, maybe it wasn't necessary in the terms of, if you want to call the environment. And so I'm kind of saying, maybe, was it, what I'm kind of getting at is, was the Scrappage scheme more about business than the environment? And was it all locked in? Was it more about that kind of...
about business, yes.
I know, but, I'm trying to...
It had nothing to do with the environment. It had absolutely nothing to do with the environment.
It came during austerity, didn't it?
It came after the recession.
Yeah, it was like trying to keep the automakers afloat, basically. And I just think, What made me think about this was more in terms of when everything kicked off about possible new scrappage schemes for the diesel cars. And is it just going to happen again? And are we going to see a load of people that have got, I don't know, Euro 2 or Euro 3 level diesels that are chucking out loads of crap, and they just go and buy, maybe not now, but maybe just go and buy a Euro 5 or Euro 6 diesel? It doesn't actually get them out of diesels. It's not about solving, these scrappage schemes aren't about solving the real problem. I mean, I would say the new diesel scrappage scheme, you're only allowed to get it if you get a hybrid or an electric. Maybe just an electric if I was being really stingy. But I think it's just a bit too open-ended, and it was too much about lining the pockets of the auto.
Look, it's absolutely...
School me. Go on.
The clue is in the word scheme, okay? Because it's scheme.
As in pyramid scheme.
It may as well be a pyramid scheme. What it is about, what it is about is how does this country make money from cars?
Selling them.
Okay. No. This country doesn't make money from selling cars other than VAT.
Yeah.
Okay?
True.
There's no money to be made selling cars. There's no money... Because the country doesn't manufacture cars of its own brand anymore. Yeah. This country benefits from cars in that employment.
Yeah.
Okay?
The sector.
And here's a bit that's going to blow your mind. Okay, blow your mind.
I'll keep my cap on so you don't see it.
Put your seatbelt on for this.
Okay.
There are no manufacturing companies anymore. Only finance companies.
Oh.
And that is why in this country they want to loan you the money to buy a car.
It's a finance sector, not a vehicle sector.
The finance sector in this country is over, I think it was pre-recession, I believe it was almost or just over around 50% of the economy as a whole.
Wowzers.
It was absolutely enormous, bloated, unregulated, out of control. People need to be on the never to keep this industry afloat. For the sake of the country's gross national product, that's what it is now. It is lending people money and then being able to get it back out of them at a profit. That's how it works.
So in a way, this diesel scrappage scheme depends on, like you say, it depends on the economy. The more likely we are to go into a recession, the more likely we are to get a diesel scrappage scheme.
Yes,
essentially.
Absolutely.
So like you say, it's not we should do this for environment. It's to keep
Oh, and you can can bet. As companies like Tesla. We mentioned Bollinger earlier. Okay, I'm going to dominate the market, but what's going to happen is it's going to be like the phone market. Like when Nokia owned the phone market, and no one ever thought you'd buy an Apple phone, and then Apple comes along, and you're like, oh, Apple, Samsung, Google, all making phones now. That's what's going to happen with cars. That's what's going to happen with cars. New kind of customer. They're not going to care about the old brands. The old brands are going to be seen as, too backward looking. And
not fast enough to make the changes that they need to.
If that coincides with a downturn in the economy, like perhaps, I don't know, it turns out we have to raise interest rates or something like that, because right now the lending sector's going, for crying out loud, how many bloody years have we got to, make back at 3% or whatever it is, or if that. They're going to have to do something, and it's most likely that we'll get a scheme, and that scheme will be disguised as an environmental project, because that's it, because you can always say, oh, well, it's better for the environment. Like, you can always fall back on that.
True.
And you can always politically take the argument to, well, maybe sod the environment, Ben. Sod, we won't do anything good for the environment.
That kind of quite petulant sort of.
They can always take it to that argument. Whereas what you're saying is, but do stuff for the environment, but stop subsidising the consumers in this country with taxpayers' money. Which is then completely abused because it's a falsehood. It's a zero-sum game because what happens is, as you quite rightly said, the dealers and the manufacturers make it look like they're giving £1,000 a deal, but they're not. They're taking the government's £1,000. They're not putting £1,000 in. They're just taking the new business.
I mean, you've got to look at it like now. If you go to it, like, there's so much of it now. If you just go to buy a car now, if you go on the finance, they'll give you an extra £500 off the car.
Oh yeah, if you're not on the finance side,
so it's like,
fill your boots.
So they're already doing discounts of a sort, and it's just like you say, it's just going to be under a. So basically, our financial advice is, or hang on, no, not financial advice. Our general
went
advice
into this
is,
not even understanding the numbers.
So Men in Shed's advice is, if a diesel scrappage scheme happens, worry, because we're about to go into a recession.
It's official sign.
It's official sign of a recession. And keep an eye out, because you'll notice that there'll be no particularly strict sort of rules about you can only get. I mean, there might be like you have to buy a better diesel than the one you've got, but there'll be no.
It'll be hybrid. It'll be hybrid and electric.
Do you reckon? I hope it will be.
It depends on where the country can make its money. It depends on where the workers are, who's manufacturing the kind of cars they want to sell and stuff like that. It's no surprise.
It's a bloody game.
That Toyota, BMW, manufacturing in England, and look what they do. They churn out 1 billion diesels.
And hybrids in Toyota.
Well, hybrids now, so you'll probably be hybrids.
Smiles all around. Look at that, we solved that problem.
Feel the nihilism. Fantastic. It's alright, we're entering World War 3 anyway.
Anyway, this is it. This might be the last podcast we ever do. So
we need to get to 20. Right.
That's true. Hold it off, Trump. Just hold it off for another couple of weeks. Yes.
Well,
anyway,
let's hurry it up.
Let's break it off. Come back, and you've got an excellent one.
Yeah, I haven't. Righto. Try.
See you in a minute.